got to talk about our friends over at DraftKings. You know, the leaders in the sports booking realm, the guys that are not only safe but secure and reliable. We talk about them, and we talk about how we got to have promo codes, right? Because if we don't have a promo code, we're not talking about them. So it's this simple. First time users out there. Deke was a first-time user. We all were first-time users. But when it's your first time on DraftKings, if you use the promo code MOATS, simply MOATS, you'll receive up to $1,000 in deposit bonus money. It's a dope concept. It's essentially free money. Just type in the name MOATS and you get free money when you put your money in. Who could beat that, baby? Who could beat that? But when we talk about safe, secure, reliable, this is the app that you want, man. DraftKings Sportsbook, baby. They are number one, and that's why we like them, baby. It's that simple. Yeah. It is that simple. But we do know occasionally people have problems with gambling. We've all had problems. I've had problems.
We want people to have fun gambling.
Yes. And the best way to do that, if you know somebody that has an issue, what you got to do? You got to call 1-800-GAMBLER. Oh, yeah, 1-800-GAMBLER. If you got a problem with gambling, crisis counseling, referral services, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Got to talk about the boy McFarland, man. He is back. See, we were all, I called him up because, you know, he was a guest on the show. Shout out to McFarland.
He had a good interview.
And I was glad because remember that was that time where everybody was trying to put him in the bad character box, a distraction,
so
a me guy. We're like, what? We talked to the kid, the interview. We're like, we got off the phone. Was like, yo, this dude sounds so like good, just inspirational. Like I like this guy a lot.
We asked him about sharing carries with James Conner and any of the other running backs. He's like, yeah, if they eat, I eat. If they win, I win. It's all about the team. I'm like, all right, this sounds awesome.
Yeah. I was saying, like, who started this rumor about this kid having and I'm sorry for calling him kid. I want to call him kid. It's because I'm older. Okay, guys, I'm older. So this young man, there we go. Because he's not a kid, he's a young man. But yeah, I was like, man, this young man, like, this dude's good. Like, he has a good head on his shoulder. I like him a lot, man. But yeah, he is back, and that is definitely good, man. Dating back to training camp when I was out there watching him covering the practices. He was a big part of what Man Canada was trying to do in terms of the jet sweeps, in terms of the things that we saw Ebron do.
Speak of the jet sweeps, the success rate's even higher now.
Yes.
I think it has been like the last 2 or 3 times.
Yes,
we didn't record a podcast, but I think it's been successful still.
But we're doing it a lot less, but situationally.
Right. It's better. Randomly one time a game or something.
Whereas beforehand, it was like we do it multiple times and it was just too predictable. But with McFarland, he was a big part of this offense in training camp in terms of how they would utilize him in the running game. I like the combo approach of how they would flip-flop between Najee and him. Thunder and lightning type approach. That's another thing that we've been missing because we said, man, Kalen Ballage, we like him as a running back. Benny Snell, at times he's played well, but it was just like those guys are still in the Najee category. They don't do anything necessarily different. Whereas with McFarland, he brings a speed element that it scares you. And I like the fact that this year it was less of the road runner where, you know, remember last year he just keep running his face. Like, no, he was under control. It was kind of like when you talk about a second year leap, a guy that was starting to figure out like, hey, I'm fast enough that I can slow down. I don't have to do everything 100 miles an hour because I'm out of control too much. He's starting to understand that. And that's why for me, I was excited for him, but it was unfortunate he went down like that. But now it's like, man, this is another element. And to see him on the 53 now it's just a question of is he going to get a helmet, which I do think he will, just based on the press report with him being a full participant along with Zach Mariner being a full participant in today's practice.
Does he play?
I feel like he will. If he could,
we got to see a little bit of Kalen Ballage in Seattle, which was random, which I was pumped about. Yeah. And he looked pretty good. Now, did they just jump McFarland over him maybe because of his different role, his dynamic? Well,
because Benny Snell's going to get a helmet because Benny gives you special teams.
Right.
McFarland, though, what does he also bring? Special teams. He's a return man. So that's the part where I can see him being able to at least be slotted in there because he's a kickoff return guy. You're going to need a kickoff return guy. So that special teams part is real. It gets you a helmet. Whereas with Kalen, I don't like his productivity in terms of him versus Benny Snell. Benny Snell gets you tackles. He's been getting tackles. We've seen it on numerous occasions. And I know how Danny Smith feels. And I know Coach Simon. They always say, hey, man, if those guys are equal, who's the guy that can help me on special teams? Because that is important. Here in Pittsburgh, they take that serious. And they'll say, hey, if this guy has 5 tackles on special teams and this guy only has 1, give me the guy with 5 tackles. So that does go into that approach as well. So I could see it where it is a Najee, Benny Snell, and McFarland. I could see that, man.
So Balaj wouldn't be on the active roster, not on the active roster,
just
but
wouldn't
wouldn't
have a helmet
dress
for that game. Yeah, I could definitely see that, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I thought we turned the corner on our lack of playing time with Balaj after the Seattle game.
But it is just different now when you talk about a guy like Anthony McFarland because, like we said, Kalen and Benny can't do what Anthony can do in terms of that speed element. That's the difference right now. Whereas, does Benny or Kalen do anything better than Najee right now? So you're not missing out with those two guys, whichever one you choose. So when you're doing that and you're trying to balance it out, you say, well, who of those two, who can help me in other areas? And that's where Benny Snell comes into play because of the special teams part. That's the biggest part of special teams for guys that aren't starters. If you got value on special teams, you will always get a helmet. That's just how it goes in Pittsburgh. If you can make plays on special teams, or you're a core guy on special teams, you will always dress. You will always get a helmet, man.
You think maybe like 5 plays or something? I will be surprised if I see him in the Cleveland game.
If he's
he dresses or not.
If he's full participant every day this week, I do think he will get that helmet and will get the opportunity. I'm talking about McFarland, and I
think he'll get some touches, maybe, or at least in the game for some plays.
I can see it, man. I can see it.
That's a pleasant surprise. I'm just not expecting it because I do think we could use him.
Too, right? Would you like the handoffs to Ebron, or you wanted to go to McFarland? You like it to Claypool? You wanted to go to McFarland? We don't got Juju anymore because Juju's on IR.
It's been working though. It doesn't matter.
Yes,
it doesn't matter to me who gets it.
To me personally, McFarland brings another element. That speed is real. As a defender, speed is the difference, man. You want guys that can make you have to, oh man, all right, eyes on him. McFarland doing that, you're going to be looking. McFarland in the screen game versus Benny Snell and Caleb Balaj in the screen game. You see what I'm saying? Like, those are the things I think of. McFarland potentially getting a pass out the backfield versus Benny Snell and Caleb Balaj. It's just different.
I would be excited for it. Yeah. I would like to see it. I would be pleasantly surprised then if I see him because he does bring that different element. And you're thinking just pure running back.
In the sense, like, because the way that Canada used him,
not even saying like the jet sweep, you know what I mean? Like but 5 snaps instead of Najee Harris just in the backfield.
Correct. I could see that with him, man, just because the speed element, what he brings, and how they were using him in training camp. He was getting a ton of action in training camp. A ton of it. And I was like, all right. But we also said that Derek Watt was as well. And we've seen how that's played out this season.
A little bit more for him,
but he's been improving. Absolutely. But those are the guys where I was just like, dude, they look good. I kind of like what I'm seeing right here. Now, Matt Canada has been using bigger body personnel groupings as well. We talked about that last podcast. So to me, I'm just like, I could see it, man. I do hope if he is completely healthy, like you said, full participant, that he does get the opportunity. Because I just think it'll be a breath of fresh air to have that type of speed back there because we don't have that right now.
No. And we don't have anybody that's whenever we played the Packers. Mm-hmm. Aaron Jones, he flashed a little bit in that category. And it was like, man, we don't really have that here. I'm not complaining because Najee Harris is balling out. But like if we just had that extra element, it could make a difference. I don't want to put all my stock into McFarland saying it's going to happen. But he had a pretty decent preseason. He had a pretty decent offseason because when we look back on last year, it's like, he wasn't ready. Mm-hmm. But we'll find out if he does get the snaps, if he actually is ready to be a complementary piece to this offense. I'd be amped about it. I mean, it could change some things.
No question it could, man. No question.
Now, the other running back, though.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah.
One running back gets promoted.
Oh, man.
The other one gets demoted.
What did it say? The circle of life.
Yeah. Jalen Samuels. Mm-hmm. I was surprised that he even made the roster.
Why you got to take shots at my dog Jalen like that? Come on, man.
I'm just being straight up.
I don't even know him, but I like him. I'm sorry.
I do too, but compared to the other running backs, he just wasn't really cutting it.
They don't have a New England Patriots game where the way he went off though. They don't have that.
True.
They don't have a Cincinnati Wildcat game where he balled out. They don't have one of them under their belts. Y'all better chill out, man.
That's definitely fair. Yeah. But I guess that's why he was on the roster, on the practice squad, just because Anthony McFarland was hurt. Mm-hmm. So now that we activate him, it's just a move. They just felt like, hey, we need to make this. This is what was going to happen probably anyway.
Because I do feel like we both agreed when we were talking about who we thought would make the final roster. We felt that Jalen was the odd man. Now, we said it would be between him and Benny Snell.
Yeah.
But
and Jalen actually, in terms of just pure running back, he had a little bit of better performance probably in the preseason because he had that one game. He had a touchdown,
but
some tough yards.
Benny Snell, because it was like Benny Snell had missed some time in the preseason, but it wasn't the Lions.
I think it was the very last game.
Yeah, the Panthers one where he
was
played
RB1.
well. Yeah, he looked good. It's just one of them things, man. I mean, it sucks for Jalen because I do think he's still a good player, but just not fitting is not working. Whether it was on him, whether it was scheme, it's not the same right now. And you have a guy like Najee, you talk about a guy like McFarland. Now you have Kalen Ballage. It's crowded. It's different. You're asking yourself, well, what does Jalen do better than those guys? And then when I compare Jalen to Benny, once again, what's the difference? Special teams. Benny's going to give you tackles. We talked about that. He's going to give you tackles on special teams. So if it comes down to who do I keep as the fourth RB, give me the guy that can get me plays on special teams, because Jalen, he's not doing it to Benny's level just yet. So that's when you make those decisions. That's how it comes to, man.
Some would argue maybe he has the best hands. I'd actually probably put Najee Harris after seeing what he's been doing this season and what he was doing in college.
Yeah.
But out of the rest, maybe you'd say Jalen Samuels. But at the same time, once he gets the ball, it's not really that dynamic.
Yeah.
And you're not having him run Le'Veon Bell routes out there.
Nah.
So you're right. It just comes down to what's the point now? Yeah. It's unfortunate because we have good memories with him. And there's a lot of hype with him coming in that 2019 season. Two-headed monster between him and James Conner we were hoping for. Yeah. But didn't really play out that way.
Well, it's like that, man.
A move that I'm surprised by, just because I'm surprised Jalen Samuels was mentioned again this season. Yeah. I completely forgot about him. At the same time, it's like...
I was like, man, he's on practice squad. I was like, he's not on practice squad anymore. Okay. All right.
He's like, this happened. Jalen Samuels. But then it's like, okay.
That's why.
Kind of figured, I guess.
Yeah.
But wish him the best. Yes. You see what James Conner's doing out with AZ, former Pittsburgh running back. Maybe he could latch on to another team.
Sometimes
and do
change the scenery works, man. So I mean, I'm a believer in that. I mean, shoot, I came from Buffalo and I came here and it changed, man. Sometimes changing the scenery works, man. It helps you flourish, man. So hopefully with Jalen, it'll be like that for him as well, man.